So today we just want to talk about navigating the AI revolution, opportunities and challenges for students and researchers. When I was coming, I saw a number of poster presentation. So that shows that we already have some established researchers here. I saw somebody worked on systematic literature review. I was like, this is interesting. Then it shows you are no more a beginner. Anybody working on any literature review is no more a beginner when it comes to research. Much more systematic literature review. I know what it entails. So I quite give it to that person. Are you here? Do we have the group here? Or they are online? Is it? Or what? Do we have the group on that's presented that systematic review? Do we have them here? They're not here. So how are they presenting that to you? Who is speaking to the poster? All right, that's fine. That shows that we have a number of you that's already into what we call research. You have started. I believe most of the time we don't recognize that undergrad students are researchers. You may not think that you are a researcher yet unless you are beginning to go into postgraduate studies. But the foundation is very good. If you have started writing now as undergraduates, you have done well. So I'm going to give you a glimpse of some of the things we need to do as we go about that, because the way we have conducted our own research, we actually thought it. Because during our own time, just like Prof rightly said, we usually go to the library to look for books using the Library of Congress format. Some of the time, special library, Dewey Decimal, and we have to comb through a number of catalogs to look for the books that we're looking at for. But today is so simple, it's so easy for you guys. With a punch of a button on your computer, you get avalanche of materials that will be useful to you. Now, even much more than that, after that generation, we have another generation now, which is the fourth industrial revolution, the 4IR, which is the time of artificial intelligence. And you are fortunate to be part of that. I wish I can wind down the hand of the clock 2 more decades backward, so that I will be at this level, and then the AI will still be here. But then we don't have regrets. We will still see the little time that we have to maximize the use of AI. What I'm saying to you in essence is that you guys are fortunate because you are here now. It is quite unfortunate for my father because he did not meet the internet. You know, those generations, they did not meet the internet. Our own generation, when we started our research, we did not, the AI was not there. It was there, but it was not pronounced, just like we have now. You know, so what are we saying? I would quickly like to point you to the reason why we have to carry out research. Why do we identify knowledge gaps? The essence of conducting a research is because you want to solve a problem. You don't conduct a research because you want to bag a degree. That's what we used to tell our PhD students. Most of the students, they will say that, oh, because I want to be a doctor. No. The essence of conducting the research is because you have a problem you want to solve. If there is no problem, why then do you then need to conduct the research? Having a degree or having that PhD or a master's or BSc, it should be like an icing on the cake. So this is what we are saying. Foundation of impact. Research gaps are the bedrock of impactful, original scientific inquiry. If there are no research gaps, then your research will just be on the desk in the laboratory for years and nobody will visit it. And it will not be useful to you or anybody. You can hear Prof talking about having impact on your research. If your research does not get to the last user, to people, does not have impact on people, then you also suffer for it. I'm not talking about you're going to have pains, you're going to have headache. No. You won't have any benefits coming out of that research. The thing will just be there. You're back to BSc, fine. BSc holder, master's holder, PhD holder, I'm a doctor. What comes after that? So Now, to navigate vast literature, postgraduates and researchers must efficiently navigate the ever-expanding volume of academic literature. When you want to conduct research, the first thing that you will do is to consult literature. Not just one, not just two. So ideas comes from looking at what others had done in that field. If you ask me now, I can generate 1001 ideas, project ideas for you. Why? Because I have read a number of literatures. So same for you, if you want to conduct research, it is important and imperative for you to consult relevant journals, articles in that line. But the problem is, when we have some of these articles, how do we digest them? How do we read 20? Most of the time, the standard is, if you're writing a BSc project, you should not have nothing less than 50 to 70 research articles that you have consulted, that you want to cite in your work. But with the load of work that you are carrying also with your project during that same semester while you're writing your project, how will you be able to consult 70 literature? It might be difficult. But I'm going to show us here how to use AI to leverage on AI to get that done. You still have to read literature. All right, so the traditional challenges, like I said, we have a lot of volumes of publications and data that are available. A lot of them, avalanche of them. Which one do I use? I have 50, 100, 200 articles. Which one will be better for me because of the little time? Which you cannot consult very fast. You also have difficulty in synthesizing some of these articles that you have read, that you already have in your computer. How do you bring them together? How do you maximize the opportunity? Because the ordinary thing is, you are not expected to read from page 1 to page 30 of any particular article. Because if you have to read from page 1 to the end of that particular article, how will you then massage all the 150 articles that you have harvested? It will be difficult. So, but how do you know which part is best? Do I go to the methodology of this particular work? Or do I go to the objectives or go to the literature of this particular work to be able to bring some of the nitty-gritty that I need here and then merge it with the other? So all of those things are some of the things we have been doing in the past. But today I'm going to show us and give us that information, how AI can assist us to get that done. And that way it will save your time. It will, by automating those processes. Then AI revolutionizes how we understand and visualize research landscapes, making gap identification more intuitive and efficient. You can use AI. It is not time to be describing what AI is to us. I believe we all know. AI is a short for artificial intelligence, which is an intelligence that is not natural to the machine, an intelligence that is artificial to the machine. If I'm using ChatGPT, for example, I know we all know ChatGPT, is that not? ChatGPT is one of the large language models that we use today. I use it on a daily basis, almost every hour. So you are also not restricted to using some of these tools as well, but then you must be guided in the way you use them. So, and they can do a lot of things for us. Large language models can think for you. Your professor is not available to you 24/7. Your supervisor is not available to you all the time. But the AI model, large language models, can be your friends, your best friend that you talk to at any point in time to advise you and to guide you in carrying out a lot of things. And I'm going to be telling you. Yes, then step-by-step strategies to find research gaps with AI. You can collect and organize literature. You can even use AI to harvest literature, not even going to Google Scholar. That's what we know how to use. But there are some procedures by using AI that can facilitate. Just tell it the kind of work, your title of your research, for example, and then it will harvest relevant relevant materials that will be useful for your work. Then you can also generate visual maps, like we used to have this word cloud, and even relationship networks among your literature that you have downloaded. I'm going to, time will not permit me to demonstrate, but I think I have a recorded video already, which I will allow you to have a look at. And then maybe after this class, you can go through that, see that, and then see what we have there. Then you can also leverage AI search and some summarization to prioritize the most promising research questions, like I said. And then you ensure that you continue to update your knowledge regarding the use of these tools. So AI can assist you to also, from your research topic, it can assist you to generate research gaps. Most of the time, students find it difficult to know what is the problem indeed that I want to solve. You can describe it to LLM, and it can also generate research questions and possible and corresponding research objectives as well for you. Okay. But at the same time, it is important for you to ensure that you are transparent in the use of these tools. Not after you have used AI and you are pretending as if, oh, this is my work alone, I'll just do copy and paste verbatim, and you throw it to your supervisor. There are tools to catch all of that. We're not saying you should not use it, but use it ethically. Where there is any need for you to recognize or to say that, oh, I have used this for the methodology, I have used it to generate my research questions, why not acknowledge that and put it there? That is what is expected. And also ensure that you don't do it verbatim. You can use AI to generate ideas. You can use AI to rewrite for you. Then you can also use AI to do so many other things, but ensure that you also have human interaction with it as well. Your content must be part of what it's available in that that is generated after the generation. So then we also have the challenge of bias and data quality. Actively work to avoid biases and ensure high data quality in all AI-driven gap analysis. Most of these products, they will tell you that they are not 100% perfect. So you are expected to use your intellect to confirm the outputs that the AI is generating for you. But I can tell you, over 95% of what is coming out is correct, especially with the current because they have upgraded it right from, I think, ChatGPT started how many years ago? November, was it 2021, 2022, thereabouts. That's about 4 years. So the database they used to launch this, they have upgraded it. Not the database, the data set. So that I won't be using the wrong words. The data set that were used to generate the LLM ChatGPT that time is already updated. Correct. Then there are a number of tools you can apparently use to do all of these things that you can leverage to do your research. We have a number of them here, but time will not permit, like I said, to be demonstrating to you. Research Rabbit is one of them. You can up the web to look for relevant materials for you beyond what Google Scholar will give you. Right there, while you are waiting, is bringing the result. There is another one. I'm an advocate of this, answerthis.ai. Answerthis.ai. I don't like to tell you, but I'm telling you already. You can use to write a complete thesis, and it will give you, what do we call it, the appropriate references as well. Just tell it, this is what I want to work on. Can generate, tell it the number of pages you want. Tell it the number of words. It can assist you to do all of that. But I am not saying that you should do that. You can use to generate a few things and then sit back as draft zero. Draft zero. Not complete thesis, apparently. That's not the way to do research. As draft zero and begin to work with that by yourself. Fortunately, I spoke with the CEO of this answer. Not spoke. We communicated over email. Because the guy was saying that I think $30 per month. I said, no, African scholars, we subscribe for $30 per month here. You cannot sell. So, and I was interacting with him. Eventually, I had to get what do we call it now? A discount for anybody coming from African universities, 40% off, on that. So with a code, which may be available if you are interested, you want to go there, I can share it with your coordinator. So, okay, that's fine. So these are some of the tools you can use. We also have another one, SciSpace. SciSpace. All of that, even outside, is also available for free to an extent. Research Rabbit is available for free to an extent, but you'll be limited in some of the things that you can do. Same for SciSpace as well. Okay, so but since time will not permit us, if you have your QR, you will see the practical demonstration of all of these things I mentioned in this YouTube class. So you may wish to scan that, see if you have it now. I'll give you 30 seconds to do that. Although I'm going to leave my PowerPoint as well behind, which the coordinator can forward to you. So, because time, I'm being timed, so that's why there's no way I can demonstrate research rabbits outside these and a few other ones that I've mentioned. But then you will see all of that there when you get there. Okay. So I move. We have a good number of other AI apps that you can also work with. I've talked about ChatGPT. We also have Claude, we have Meta, we have Gemini, we have Microsoft Pilot, a number of them, Midjourney. But this is not the time to begin to talk about them. You can also take your time to explore them. This is just like a few of them. All right, so you can harness AI to uncover hidden research opportunities and accelerate scientific discovery. That one is very, very important. AI can assist you. Let me tell you, you can also use, when there's any call for research or call for grants, you can get started by AI. Even when you are thinking about which idea, what do I think, what do I work on, AI can get you started. You know, some of the time, what I normally do, let me give you the secrets. I will upload the call so that the LLM will read all the content, and then I will then append a prompt. This is a call for research grants to work in this area. I want to specialize in one of these. I want you to write an idea for me in one of the thematic areas. I will just specify that. Lo and behold, it's there. So then you can also build dynamic agenda, construct a dynamic evidence-based research agenda that stands out. If you are conducting a research, you must ensure that your research will definitely stand out. Beyond just conducting your research and getting your marks for your research, you also have to think beyond that, which is the impact that Prof mentioned, because that's where I'm going to be ending that class. This presentation rather, because it's very important for you to begin to think about. There was a day when I was looking at the crowd at the kids. I said, so we have this population in this university. And I was like, what can I sell for ₦1? And all the students in this university will subscribe to it. I've been thinking about it. You can also begin to do the same. Imagine if I provide a service and you only pick ₦1 now. What is ₦1 to you? What's even 10? What's even 100 naira? And you are able to use it maybe on a daily basis or maybe on a monthly basis. ₦1 times 35,000 students. What does that translate to? 35,000 naira. And you're able to use that on a daily basis. Ordinarily, I won't give you a service. How will you pay ₦1? It's not ₦1 now. Go to 100 naira. And what is 100 naira to you? Very minimal. So there are things that we can do that will be of benefit to you. Today, we are inviting Tosin Eniolorunda. It was like this some few years back. It was like you some few years back, sitting and listening to lectures in this way. And he never knew he was going to get there. So we still have a number of Tosin Eniolorunda seated here that in the next 3, 5, 10 years, you begin to hear your names. I'll begin to bring you back into this university and be referring to what's happened here today. And this is what we're talking about. It's possible. You only need to tell yourself that it's possible, and then you begin to take the step. So, I'm going to the challenges now of AI, the opportunities and the challenges. And the reason why we cannot remain consumers of these models, of these apps. We have been doing that. That's what we do in this part of the world. In Africa, we are just users of technologies. We are not creators. We are not consumers. We're only consumers. We are not creators. So that's where we're going. So I just punched this into my ChatGPT. You can open your ChatGPT and let's do the same practical in 1 minute. I just said generate school children in school green and white uniform, both male and female, with their backpacks. And AI generated this for me straight away, ChatGPT in particular. I also said again, create an art of male and female school children in red and white uniform with their backpacks. And this is what I have. And I want to use this to teach students in OAU, to impart knowledge to students in OAU. What do you think is wrong? Is anything wrong or is this okay? The brand. There's no brand here.
They are Caucasians.
Yes, it's like they are Caucasians. Man, what is bad in being Caucasians? That's the word. That's the word. And you see the bias. It will give you black persons when you have conditioned it. When you say, create an art of male and female school African children, that's when you're going to get black. So those are some of the challenges. There is bias in the algorithm that they have used to create all of this. And a good number of other gaps, especially language, we're going to get that. And that's where the niche is for you and I to begin to plug in. Okay, so let's move on. Some of the bottlenecks has to do with the data sets, the computing power that we do not have available because they are placed behind paywalls, and then publishing gateways you have to pay to access journal articles. You know, paywalls limit and then limited bandwidth as well, restricted computing power and all of that. Those are some of the challenges, and even much more than that. Our governments have not also seen what they need to do. We're just forcing them to do the little we're able to get from them. That's what we're talking about. But then that is still not yet enough. So we're going to see here now. This is we have legs down. In Africa, majority of the African institutions, not institutions, African countries, will spend less than 1% on GDP, 1% on GDP for R&D in Africa, whereas the standard globally is about 2.62% of GDP, of the budget. That's the problem. Because how do you convince somebody who is not a researcher to put about 2% on R&D in the budget? It will be difficult. So that way we have been having Africa spends roughly 5 times less on R&D on global average. And if you don't, it is like competing. It is garbage in, garbage out. What is the opposite of garbage? If it's not also garbage, if you are putting in anything, whatever you put in, you can't get what you don't have. You have to put in something before what you are putting in will be magnified. Same for R&D. If you put just a little in R&D, you're going to get just a bit of advancement as well. So those are some of the challenges we're having in this part of the world. Okay, so let's see this. I think there's a paper that was they developed an app. Apparently, it was models. This systematic review also checked some papers, about 103 of them, and they found out that they use satellite imagery to explain 70% of wealth variation across countries. Take, for example, and you want to know that our people, now, Banana Island. Do I have my class in Banana Island? No, I'm a lecturer here. How much do I have? Well, do I have 100 million to buy land in Banana Island? No, I don't think so. Or maybe later in life it's possible, just because I'm following that. Although time is no more on our side, but I think it's still possible. All right, so why try? Okay, so the 68%, they found out about a number of documents reporting 68% algorithm bias in some of the existing apps, which has to do with, they only favor their culture, their language, and all of that. And then we also have 42% data sovereignty. Data sovereignty is all about if you are using Yahoo or you are using Gmail, you don't have, you know that you can log in, Abby, to log in to access your accounts. But let me tell you, that is a stand being left on the server, which you don't have control over. So you don't know what people are doing with your data. You don't know what they're doing. So there's an issue of data sovereignty. So all of that, how do we localize? I don't have the solution. That's what we have to begin to think about. Solving the bias, algorithm bias, solving data sovereignty bias, because it's a lot of challenge for us. So this is where the niches are. Okay, so what we are talking about is we have to move from being consumers to co-creators. And one of the areas that is very important that we have to begin to think about is you can notice here that you can build AI that speaks Africa's over 2,000 languages. They don't have that capacity yet. They're not doing that. What they're presenting to us now is just English in English. They're just trying to embed some other languages, but they don't have 100% learning yet. For example, now I think, do I have an example here? You know, Igbo language, we have it there. We have Swahili. Which other language do we have? We have over 2,000 for Africa. These are some of the areas that they have not covered. And these are some of the areas where we can have our niche in when you are developing your. So when you are developing your app, this is what I believe you should be thinking about. After you have conducted your research and then you are done with the paperwork, you have to think about how to commercialize it as well. But you won't start from commercialization. You have to start from research. You have to start from building it up by developing it. So these are some of the things that you should embed. In our projects that we just concluded, now I think we concluded this March 2026, we developed an app that can assist farmers. Take, for example, now you are planting vegetable, maybe amaranthus, for example, and then you want to ask a question about the appropriate soil that will be okay for amaranthus. You can just type it there and you will see the response. Much more than that, you can also see the translation of that in English, from English to Yoruba, to Igbo, to Hausa, and in Pidgin language as well. We have that there as well. And even much more than that, maybe you just have a kind of infestation on your farm and you want to check. You describe the infestation to the app. The app will tell you the likely bacteria or fungal effects that is going on in your farm. And at the same time, it also tell you the way out, what you need to do. So these are some of the things that we can begin to think about. And then solving solution of data sovereignty, like I said, and then co-creation. You may not, Prof talked about interdisciplinary research. You have to work with others as well. Me as a computer scientist, I was the only computer scientist among other colleagues on that project that I talked about. 4 of them are from agriculture, 4 or 5 of them from faculty. Well, 2 of them in the United States, 1 on soil, another person on nutrition. We have 2 other people here, 3 other people here in different areas. So you have to collaborate. You can't work in isolation. So these are some of the things we are talking about. Then the AU Continental AI Strategy, July 2024, anchors its visions on ethics, inclusion, human rights, and dignity with 5 priorities. So if you're working towards the African programs, then the better for us. If we are handy with some of these things, some of the things that African Union is talking about, their targets, this was instituted in 2024 up to 2030. So to harness AI benefits, to build capacities. Building capacities are some of the things that they have done is, you can imagine or see that the Minister of, what's his name now? Communication, 3MTT, who is working on this 3MTT? You know 3MTT? Million technical talents, is a way to build capacities. If you don't have the opportunity to join those teams, you can begin to do that by yourself. AI can teach you anything. Today, ChatGPT can write codes for you. Not just ChatGPT, Copilot, DeepSeek, and a good number of them. Complete codes that you need can write it for you. But for you to be able to know how to put them together, how to harness them, then you need that basic understanding of that particular language. So you need to pick Python up if that is what you want to do. You need to be able to work with C# if that is what you want to do. Basic understanding. If yours is web design, web technology, you need to be able to know how to use HTML, integrate CSS, and a few other things. But do you know the nitty-gritty from the beginning, from the basics? You don't need to talk to any teacher. The YouTube University is there for you. ChatGPT is also there for you. Say, I'm a beginner, I want to learn how to use HTML. I want to begin to create websites. We begin to tell you little by little the code you need to type, how to take it to your browser, and experiment. So these are some of the things you can begin to think about and begin to do. So why, the last thing now, why we need local data to adapt AI development in Africa? I'm not only talking to you for you to develop programs or apps that you can only use in OAU, but beyond OAU. Let us think locally and act globally, not just for Africa and beyond. Now today, Money Point started in Nigeria, and I believe you can tell us that, my brother, do we have Money Points outside Nigeria? We don't have Money Points outside Nigeria, but it started from home, and it's going global. The same is for you as well. You can begin to work on something now, and then you can take it higher. Okay, so that's about that. Like this is what I was saying. GPT-4 will recognize Hausa language up to 10 to, in fact, it's not even 60%, up to 10 to 20% of the time, limiting usability across Africa. So this is what we have to do. There are a number of data sets you can begin to put together. While I was working with my friends, my co-researchers at Faculty of Agric over there, I noticed that there are a number of data that we need that are not readily available. Do you know that in OAU here, you want to plant anything in OAU here, soil has a number of properties. Nitrogen, there's a percentage for nitrogen, percentage for phosphorus, percentage for K. What is K? Potassium, NPK. Each of them, there is a recommended mix of this NPK for different groups. That's why today you find out that we cannot plant beans successfully in Southwest here. But over there, where in the north, it's so easy for them. Even here in OAU, there are different nutrients in different areas. We don't have that data. How do we know what is available in OAU, for example? The components that are available on the soil here. Even moving away from OAU, go to Ede. We don't have the same soil components in Ede compared to what we have here. But you can have someone that can take up a large grant, to capture a number of these data sets and make it available somewhere. It can be behind paywalls. If you want to have access to all of that for Ile-Ife, for Osogbo, for Ede, for the whole of Osun, for the whole of Oyo State, for the whole of Southwestern Nigeria, those opportunities are there that nobody has taken advantage of. You can't see that data anywhere. So these are some of the things that we can begin to think about, problems that we can begin to solve, even with apps and all of that, even data set as well. Okay, so let me just move very fast. If you look at this, AI sovereignty, there is a huge market. Africa's AI market by 2030 with localized AI development and local data ecosystem. That is the prediction. Then the question to you and I is, how do we get into this? How do we take a share of this amount that has been projected, which is coming in the next 3 years? It's still possible. If you're in part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, you can still make it. You can work with your colleagues, and before you know it, I think a few months ago, was it not in the beginning of the year, some of the guys that developed some apps were given, was it $1,000 each? I don't know. Did you hear about it? Some guys, they were given $1,000 each by this Minister of Communication, $1,000 each. $1,000 is something. That's about 1.5 million for undergraduates. Somebody was saying that when Prof mentioned $200,000, he said, can spend that money for decades. But that's the beginning. That would be a reference for you when you want to do something better. So let's begin to think about how we can. It's possible you can do it. Just get started. So local data is Africa's AI future, and that is why I am saying this now. This is what we have to do. Without local data, all perpetuates bias and exclusion across Africa. The bias will continue to exist, and the challenge will continue to be there, and nobody will be there to take it up. And when you solve any, like I said when I first started, when you solve any problem, then you are bringing food on your own table. Today, money points have solved the problem of the bottlenecks of transferring money, because we are very sure that if you want to transfer from First Bank to Zenith Bank, in those days, it used to be, when I say in those days, some few years back, even before the advent, that was before the advent of money point and OB. You can transfer that successfully, and it may not land until 24 hours after. But if you do that, I don't have any link with money points, but I'm just telling you this. If you do that transfer now with maybe money points and all of that, they have developed such that when you transfer now, even before the money is removed from your hand, the recipient is receiving the alert. So they saw that problem, and they waded in, and they created solutions, and that is what we have today. Today now, the Money Point CEO was so easy for him to dash us 1 billion in OAU and 3 billion for African institutions in the next 3 years. That's a good one. So you have to begin to think of what you can do for your country. That's not what your country can do for you. It is so obvious now that our country, they don't have security for us. They can't provide the electricity for us. Thank God for OAU that is paying through the nose to give us what we have. You know that we have dedicated electricity to keep us running. So what I do for myself in my house, because I usually have nothing more than 6 hours out of 24 hours of electricity. And out of the 6 hours, 4 hours out of that, we're already in bed, unless you can wake up to do anything. So I provided solutions for myself without thinking about, do I have light? So you have to do that for yourself as well, to think out of the box, not waiting for what your country will do for you. Get yourself a laptop and begin to put codes together to provide solutions that will be useful in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years. You have to start from now. If you don't start now, you cannot start when the need, as you are thinking about solving a problem. Let me tell you the way it works. That idea will just be flying in the air. Once the idea drops into your mind and you not nurture it, it will fly away and go elsewhere. And that's why you find out, I've been thinking about it too. But I'm not thinking about it. Permit me to use this scripture in the Bible. He said, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. That's Proverbs 4:23. It means the issues of life are always dropping in your heart. It now depends on you to know how to receive it and nurture it. Some other things that are negative also drop there, but it will be left for you to expunge that rather, and then dwell more on what will bring food on your table. So as I think this is where I'm going to end.